Well, welcome to another show, guys. Today we have a special guest. We have Nancy, and she's an account and financial business consultant. How you doing, Nancy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming here. I know we got pretty much introduced by our friend Sandy. Too bad RP, she couldn't be here today.
Yeah.
But I think next time she'll be here. But can you explain yourself, like who you are? Who is Nancy?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So pretty much that's what you said. Right now, I'm working on. I do anything from accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and financial consulting to business. On the personal side, I'm a new mom, so I have a 2-month-old.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Boy or girl?
It's a girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've been married about 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping busy. I'm learning how to balance now the being a mom and work life, but it's going great.
That's always a challenge right there.
Yeah.
Always. All right, so one of my first questions I was going to ask you as well too is going to be like, how and why did you become a business consultant?
Yeah, so it's kind of been a road to that. I guess I never really planned on being where I am now. I went to school. My experience is I have a bachelor's and a master's on finance.
Yeah, and you're local, right? So I guess
local.
You graduated from Memorial.
From Lamar, yeah. I went to Lamar University.
Okay, and Memorial or which high school?
I went to Memorial High School.
Oh, okay.
Graduated class of 08, and then from there, I started college.
Okay, yeah.
So I was in college about 6 years, 4 for my bachelor's and then 2 for my master's. And through me being in college, I was in banking. So I always liked money and finances since I was little. That's all I knew.
You like the numbers?
Yeah, numbers. Yeah. I was always the math person.
Yeah, same here. I was always pretty good in math or whatever, but English was always my worst subject. I was always going to summer school for English.
I wonder if that's a Hispanic thing, because like for me, when I came here, I didn't understand English.
Oh, really?
So math, I could identify with the numbers. Cause,
same here.
I didn't have to struggle with the language.
How old were you when you came to the States?
I think I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, okay.
When my mom brought me.
So I'm guessing like maybe 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, around that age.
Okay, same here. I was like
awesome.
6, 7, but we first moved to San Francisco out there in the West Coast.
We went to Georgia first. I lived in Georgia.
Oh, okay. Was it a big change for you?
Well, after I lived in Georgia, we went back to Mexico for like 2 years, and then we came here.
Oh, okay.
So I've been here about 20 something years.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And I'm guessing, so why you started this consulting?
Yeah, so from there, I always liking the numbers. So whenever I was in college, I started in banking as a teller, and then from there, I moved up to mortgage lending. So I was in mortgage lending for a while. I really liked it. And it was a really stressful career. And I always say it's my applause to anyone that does those careers, any real estate or mortgage lending.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stress involved.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of left. I wanted to do something different. And I was newly married at that point too. So my husband said, you just stay home for a while until you decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
And for me staying home, I realized that was not for me. Like not working, like I had to work.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. I can never see myself not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't believe in really retiring. Maybe retiring from a job, then doing my own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And from there, I just started. I didn't even plan to open a business, but I started getting requests to do business plans for businesses from the people that I knew at the bank. They were sending me their clients. And they were just sending me things to do. I knew taxes from where I was doing mortgage lending. So
yeah,
that's kind of how I started. I started getting business without even advertising. So I decided to go ahead and open my LLC, and it all started from there.
Oh, nice. So you just don't do businesses, but that's what's your main focus, but you do personals as well, right?
Yeah, personal taxes.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was so the first year that I started my business, I was more like doing business plan, more finance things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what direction to go into, and that was something my husband helped me with. He's like, you should do taxes because that goes along to what you're doing, and that really elevated my business because once I started doing taxes, more people knew me.
Yeah,
right away.
And then taxes just change pretty much every year, huh?
Yeah, that's a horse of its own. Like you have to stay on top of
pretty much,
the laws, the things.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. All right, the next question I was going to ask you: what kind of the biggest mistake do you see the businesses make?
I would say a lot. One of the biggest mistakes they make is not having an accountant and doing cash, doing their business with cash.
Because cash, you can't. There's no way to track it, right? I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
there's no way to track it. There's no way to know what you did with it, how much you made, how much you spent.
Yeah.
And then you end up paying more taxes probably than if you would track it.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever you track all your expenses, you get to deduct them
Yeah.
based on their qualifiable deductions for tax purposes. The
Yeah.
IRS will let you deduct anything that has to do with your business.
Yeah.
So if you're just spending in cash, have no receipts, have no way of tracking that, then you probably end up spending more than what you would have if you're tracking.
Yeah. As you as their accountant, like, how would you like service them? Like, is that like a monthly thing, weekly thing, or how does that go?
I service them on a monthly.
Okay.
I have a package where I do their bookkeeping, their payroll, and then I give them reports. So since I went to school for finance, I know a little bit more than a regular accountant, you could say, on the finance perspective of always advising them what to do with their business. So a lot of accountants, they just give them a report but never explain to them, this is what you need to be doing, this is what you're doing wrong. So that's kind of where I specialize more, is that I like to keep them on track. You know them, you're either spending too much here or you need to sell more, just whatever is good for them.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you have to be able to read it, so like their statements.
Their financial statements.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always send them a financial statement, which includes like it's called a profit and loss statement, balance sheet if they have one, and then I send an explanation of that report.
And I guess people may know that businesses have financial statements, but you as a person have a financial statement as well too, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so actually if you go to a bank and ask for a loan, they'll ask you for a personal financial statement.
Yeah. And that's when you could get like maybe loans depending on how your debt to income ratio is and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So, and like in businesses, you know how to have small business and large businesses, how the taxes work. Are they work differently or the same for those type of business?
So it kind of depends on more the structure of the business or how they're incorporated. So it can be like a lot of business just have a DBA, which is just doing business as, which the taxes work the same, kind of the DBA or an LLC, which is a limited liability company. When you're structured like that, it really doesn't matter like how many millions you make or less than millions. You can do your personal taxes and those taxes together if it's only one person. But then if they're structured as a corporation, then taxes work differently. Now you have to do one separate tax for the corporation and a separate tax for your personal. So it's more how you structure your business. If it's a corporation, LLC, DBA, that's kind of how the different taxes work.
Yeah, and I think from my understanding, let's say if you start a business and if you don't have an LLC and then you have it just everything under your name, that's when the IRS could actually look all into your personal stuff as well too, if you try to have that business together with just your name, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of, it gets, it kind of puts red flags if you don't have everything separated, because when you have a business, you're supposed to have everything separated. Because now if you're trying to deduct personal expenses, it's kind of hard if you have it all together for them to know, well, was this a personal expense or was it a business expense?
So it's probably best practice to have a separate bank account, credit card use as well too, I'm guessing all of that.
Yeah, so for me, whenever I do the accounting, they have to have their own account for the business. I don't let them have their business and personal together.
Yeah.
Because in fact, that's what I start teaching like clients that don't know. When I first get their first statement and I see personal expenditures on there, then I start telling them, no, you can't have this because it's not deductible. So like, for example, one today that I saw is a restaurant, but I see like for the vet, they took their dog or something. So that's a personal expense. It cannot be on their business account.
Yeah.
So those things, I'm always like, no, you have to have it separate.
Yeah. How about if it was like a mistake? You know, they use the wrong credit card for a simple.
Yeah,
purchase.
if it's a mistake, it's fine. It's just it won't be deductible.
Yeah. Okay. And you let them know, hey, this was a mistake.
Yeah, I always let them know, and so they know they can because sometimes they don't remember too. They don't remember that we're not supposed to use their business account. So it's important to have a clean bank account for tax purposes because you don't want the IRS on your back.
Yeah. Okay. And here's just a thought, just thought threw out right there. So let's say I'm starting this podcast, let's say, and I create an LLC for it. Even though I'm not making money on the podcast, because most podcasts don't make money, but everything you put into it, is that tax deductible and to that business?
Yes.
So how,
it is because it's you're starting this business, so you don't have any income. Eventually, you might have income. But since you don't now, it is everything that you spend towards the podcast is a business expense.
Yes, but I would still have to make sure it's a separate entity.
Yeah, you have to have a separate bank account.
Yeah.
And a limited liability company, what it does more than tax purposes, the point of having one is it separates your assets. So now it's its own entity. So we say this is a country of sues, like everybody always wants to sue for something.
Yeah, pretty much.
They can't sue anything towards you. So they can't sue you for your house, your cars, nothing. They can only sue for whatever is in the account of the LLC at that point.
Yeah, I guess it go back as well too, because I have one of my friends, Eric. He is a real estate investor. You know what I mean? So it's probably good practice to have the LLC for. You think for every single house?
So there's actually a LLC here in Texas that is called a Pro Series LLC, where you can each house falls into a different part of the LLC.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they do have that one. So I open LLCs, but just simple LLCs, something like that is more complicated. You have to go to a lawyer to open that for you, which is called the Pro Series LLC.
Okay.
But yeah, for example, me and my husband, we have an investment company for our rental houses, so it's good to always have that separated.
Yeah,
because a lot of people will have 10, 11, 12 houses under their name. They don't have it under an LLC.
Yeah.
And you can do that, but if a renter was to sue you or something, they can go for all your stuff.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you will have to claim that in your IRS or when you do taxes, right? The income that's coming in from the rental.
Yes. And that goes on. It can be, like I said, on the personal. It just goes on a different schedule. Businesses go on a different schedule. It's called Schedule C, and then rental properties, they go on Schedule D. So yes.
Yeah. But the money I'm asking, the money you make from the rental, it's not the whole money, right? But let's say if the mortgage is $1,000 and you're making only $1,200, so literally, I mean, not making $200, but what you're renting is $1,200, so you're only making $200 profit, right?
Yeah. So that it works just like a business. So when you have a rental property, that's your business. So you would list your $1,200 as income, and then your $1,000 that's an expense. The interest will be an expense, not the principal.
Yeah.
But then if you pay insurance, if you pay taxes on that house, if you have repairs, there's more things that you can use as deductions towards that house.
So basically, at the end, you just making $200 profit, supposedly. You know what I mean? You might even break even, but at the same time, the house getting paid down.
Yeah, and you didn't pay any taxes for that house. So that's why it's good to have a good accounting of even those things, so you can keep track of not just what's coming in, but what's going out. Because if you don't, then you just have a $1,200 profit, and now you have to pay taxes on $1,200, when really you broke even, like you said. Yeah,
broke even. Yeah. So that's good. I won't say tax loop, but I would say probably a incentive. You know what I mean? Because I think the taxes are made to make the people do things so that way they could get incentivized.
Yeah, right? So I mean, the people are always like trying to weigh, or they think they have to do illegal things to not pay taxes. When no, like you can reduce your tax bill by doing legal things, just by keeping correct accounting of your things. Yeah,
and then that way, if you do it that way as well too, then you could, when you just say try to buy another property, you have proof that, hey, I have this other property, but it's getting rented, so you know your debt to income ratio is not being messed up that way.
Exactly.
Okay, so I was also going to ask you about any scary stories that you may have.
Yeah, I have one that comes to mind with a client that whenever I was showing him the package of this is how much I do my bookkeeping and I do payroll. Well, he needed payroll. He has about 15 employees. And he told me that he did his own accounting and he counted down to every penny. So he said, I just want to do payroll. I just want you to do payroll and I keep doing my own accounting. And I said, okay, that's fine. So we did that for the year. At the end of the year, when it came down for me to do his taxes, I asked for his statement so I could do his taxes. It turned out he had a huge profit.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to pay a big amount in taxes. And he was like, oh, no, what do I do now? And I mean, I can tell you it was over $50,000 in taxes. And I was like, well, there's nothing to do now. And he said he didn't have that. That was the thing. He said he didn't have that money with him. So I'm like, if you don't have this money, this means that you didn't count every penny and you didn't do a correct accounting.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have done his accounting, he could have saved from paying those $50,000. Because since he didn't have the money, that meant he spent it on business things.
Yeah.
So he would have to pay way less.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a learning experience for him. That's why it is very important to do accounting, because it can lower your tax bill by having correct accounting.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm doing his accounting. So
Okay.
it was scary just because it was such a big amount that he had to pay, and he was so upset that he had to pay that amount.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the IRS will work with you, let them know, hey, I messed up right here. Can I make partial payments or something like that? I guess
you can make payments with the IRS, but they will they'll still charge you a penalty and they charge you interest. So as long as however long it takes you, they're charging you interest.
Yeah. Because I think even if you try to do that right now, I think just change the law. I'm not sure that you know how you could claim independence or whatever. You claim like up to 9, 10, whatever. But at the end, when you claim 0, then all the back taxes you didn't pay, you might actually now again charge interest now.
Yeah, so that's more on the personal personal side. So that's what a lot of people on their W-4 form, they'll fill it out that they have a bunch of dependents, so no taxes are taken out during the year. And then once they do their taxes, they're still expecting a refund, but they didn't really pay anything, so you can't get anything if you didn't pay it in. Like, the IRS never gives anything to you. It's always you paid in your own taxes.
Yeah.
So people that do that, since they didn't pay throughout the year, now they're having to pay it at the end of the year, whatever they were owed for the year.
Yeah. So,
and if they don't pay it all at once, they're gonna pay interest on it.
Yeah. And I'm guessing, I'm just thinking about it. So if you're a business owner, vehicles, they could be tax deductible as well, right?
It depends. So for a vehicle, if you buy it under the LLC name, you can deduct the whole payment. But if it's your personal vehicle, you can only deduct either the mileage that you use or the fuel and repairs.
Yeah.
That needs to
but
be
you
done.
would have to have copies of Excel spreadsheet and just document all of that information, right? Pretty much.
Well, it's always the IRS wants receipts. So when I do my clients' accounting, I always go off their bank statements and I always tell them keep receipts. For me, I'm always keeping.
But how about the personal mileage? Oh, that's what
for mileage, there's different things. You have to have them written down, or there's apps. Like I know I use an app that's called Mile IQ, and that one, every time you get on your car and go somewhere, it tracks your mileage. So there's different things, but you do have to have it tracked down. All that receipts and trackage of mileage, that's in case of an audit. So if you were to get audited, the IRS will ask for those things.
Yeah. Okay. But then also, is it true? I'm not sure about this. Let's say the influencers, sometimes, they get all the expensive car, but it gotta be a certain type of car. It can't just be any kind of car, right? They gotta be a certain weight class, I want to say.
For the mileage?
No. For to have a vehicle for business purposes.
No, it can be any vehicle. You have to purchase the LLC or the company has to purchase the vehicle, not you personally.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought it had to be like at least 5,000 pounds or 8,000 pounds, whatever.
No, like I have a customer that, for example, it has to have business use. They have a big ice cream parlor, and they have a van to purchase all their things. So they purchased it under the business.
Okay, gotcha. And then you also said you're from Mexico, so I'm guessing that you could also do bilingual work as well, so you could talk to Hispanic people.
Yeah,
in
so
Spanish.
mostly I would say, I don't know, 80-90% of my clients are Hispanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm that makes me happy because I know that's where there's a need with the financial sector or in business. There's not a lot of people that advise Hispanic businesses.
Yeah, in this area, so we
Yeah, in
have a
this
large community of Hispanic people. You know. What I
Yeah,
mean?
so I'm happy to be able to do that. Same with taxes. That's one compliment that I have received from my clients is that I explain to them, this is why you're paying this much, or this is why you're getting this refund. I sit there and I read the return to them so they understand.
Yeah.
And I heard before all they get is here, sign here, and they have no idea why.
Yeah. If people want to get your consultant and stuff like that, like I was gonna ask you too, like, is there like different pricing for like if it's a small business and large business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. It's based on transaction.
Yeah.
And based on their sales. So based on that is my pricing, my monthly pricing.
Okay. And how can the people reach you if they want to get your consultant on this?
Yeah, so I would say I'll give my phone number would be the easiest way,
Okay.
which is 409-217-1895. And then my website is nancygracie.com. Gracie is Gracie. And I'm on Facebook as well as Nancy Gracie Financial.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, Nancy Gracie, so I'm all over the place.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll pin all the information in the bottom, right? So don't want you guys writing all this stuff down while you're driving or whatever you guys doing. Yeah, but anything else you think the viewers need to know about?
I
Reach
don't
out to
know.
me
I think we talked some really good points.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that like it's a really good thing for your business. Like I think most of the clients that I'm working with their accounting, they would say that they haven't seen an increase in profits in their business. So people think, oh, that's an extra cost. I see it as an investment.
Yeah.
Whatever they pay me to do their accounting, that's a deduction.
Exactly,
It's a business deduction as well. So I would say to businesses, invest, even if it's not with me, like invest with an accountant and see what that would do for your business.
Yeah. That's good information right there, Nancy. All right, guys.
Thank you.
If you guys like what you guys hear, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and give Nancy a call if you're gonna start a business or you have a business. Shout her out. You speak English, Hispanic. We all need help. So let's help out each other, right, guys? All right, take it easy, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. All right, bye.